Hey, hey, hey! Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and joining and taking time out of your day to listen to the I'll Try That podcast. We're back for another episode. It's me, it's Matthew, and joining me this week I have this very esteemed company as always. Let's have a quick hello first from Richard.
Hello.
And a hello from Joseph, please.
Hello.
So now you know it's the normal trio, although Joe sounds like an old lady ghost for some reason.
I am a spooky ghost. If I'm honest, I was a bit thrown because Rich didn't chime in from which part of the world he is in right now.
Oh, God.
We guessed.
We gave up on that
how
so
long
quickly.
This would last. How long that would last, and it lasted the same with that recording session, and then it stopped.
Yeah, God, like...
It's been a long few days.
So anyway, let's say hi to Rich. Hi, Rich.
Oh, guten Tag.
Hey, there he is. I think that's German, right?
That is German, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It could be Germany. It could also span Austria. So we'll get a couple of episodes out of that one.
Yeah.
Just do it again at the start of the next one. No, leave a gap in between. That way you get more mileage. Good. All right. How very continental of you.
Very international.
Well, yes. So thank you for joining us once again. We are continuing with a very long and drawn out theme that we've been doing for a while with our beer swap shop. So when we last got together, we exchanged a load of beers that we wanted each other to try. This was one that I found and sourced and provided the lads with. And I'll put my hands up and say completely never had it before. Wanted to give it a try, and what I would say is not like me at all. Was I went for it solely on the label that caught my eye. Our brewery subject matter today is Green Duck Beer Co. Limited based in Stourbridge. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. We know what ducks are. We'll talk about them in a little bit more detail later on.
Ducks or the beer.
The brewery. Oh, you're taking a mick. Okay. Well,
Barbara's woke up on the grumpy side of the
podcast. It's all business today. No chit chat and
no chill.
I want this to be enjoyable for anyone. Right? Well, if you could do such a great job, Joe, why don't you talk us through the hot topic? Yeah.
Oh, I'm more than happy to. Thank you very much.
Really nicely
introduced. So this week we are heading and talking about one of my all-time most talked about beers, Tsingtao.
Oh, love a Tsingtao.
China's Tsingtao beer, which is the number one exported beer from China. And on the theme of exported beers, we're talking about where they're exporting to and a new deal that's just been struck about what they're specifically exporting into the UK. So for those that weren't aware, Tsingtao don't, and most beer companies don't actually just go, I'm just going to put this beer in here. There has to be agreements in place about how they put their beers to get them into your waiting, drinking hands. And so the latest news is that Tsingtao have just come up with just struck a new deal with a collaborate joint venture between LEC Beverages and In Good Company, that is a company, to be able to manage the UK licensing, sales and distribution of Tsingtao beer, the flagship brew from China's premium brewer, Tsingtao Brewery Co. Limited. So why this is, I guess, a big deal is because any new kind of venture or new kind of partnership or distribution creates a bit more like kind of engagement, a bit more like they've now taken on this contract, so they're then going to want to kind of put it and make sure it gets into the hands of consumers. So I think as a UK audience, we can assume there's going to be maybe more availability of Tsingtao, perhaps, or maybe more talking of Tsingtao from pubs.
Because you can, when I knew this is what we were going to talk about, I assume it's maybe that you will see it more in drinking establishments rather than, because you can get Tsingtao in Marks and Spencer. I think I've spotted it a couple of times, and I guess this is all a view to branching out and making it more available in more places. Which I kind of almost a little bit surprised that it wasn't done already. However, as soon as I say that, I go because there's an appetite for premium lagers, as we've discussed before, which may have gone away for a little bit, but now I think now it's back. It's not coming back anymore. It must be back now.
Is lager back? It's back.
Lager, it went away for a little bit. So briefly, you might not notice actually. But also a little bit of a saturated market, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. But then Tsingtao's been here for a long time, though, right? It's still been around for. We're quite familiar with Tsingtao in the UK.
And actually, I'd say saturated, but it's also that I did the premium lager line, didn't I? Whereas the point is, there's quite a few who will describe the lager as premium. And it's up for the discerning drinker to be able to tell the difference between what is and what isn't.
See, I'd quite enjoy a Tsingtao more regularly on tap. I think something like that, knocking around some of the pubs and all that. So I can imagine it's quite a nice beer if you're going to be drinking it for a long period of time as well. If that's kind of the only thing that's available, and if that's coming for this year's festival scene, I'm more than happy to be drinking Tsingtao all day while watching indie bands, as I do.
I quite like. I think that to me makes sense when you're at a festival where it's nice and warm and hot and sunny, rather than the ones where it's being down with rain. I mean,
to be fair, the trope that Tsingtao has always tried to get away from, or tried that we're more than just this thing, but it just fits so nicely, is when you have it paired with Chinese food. I went for my first ever Chinese hot pot with friends a few months ago. I'd never had this experience before. I can highly recommend it as someone who likes spice because it was hot in its and as an experience, but it was paired with Tsingtao, because Tsingtao is just this middle of the road, goes well with hot food basically. And I think in that environment I was like, I kind of really get Tsingtao now on a different level of why it's so good. But I appreciate that they're trying to do something where they're like, we're not just with Chinese food, we can, don't just pair us with food, have us any other time.
Wasn't their whole marketing campaign at one point all about have it with food?
They've definitely at some point paired with that. At one point, they had a whole marketing campaign specifically on the UK about how to pronounce the name Tsingtao as well. So phonetically, Tsingtao. So, they've done a few stunts to try and help the audiences around the world understand and get their hands on Tsingtao. But, fellas, what are the credentials of LEC Beverages Group and in good company, I hear you ask? So, LEC Beverages Company.
It was rolling off my tongue as you said it.
I didn't ask because I've already read about this.
I'm genuinely now excited. So
I'll sit in the corner for this bit.
Someone loves a good credentials, So, Rich, I'm going to right. You are now the general manager of Tsingtao International. Okay.
I definitely have the experience and credentials for this job role.
Which is a shame that you didn't start this episode by saying hello in Chinese or Mandarin.
I would have done that one in one of the previous ones. I'm pretty sure.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
So, let me pitch to you these companies' credentials, and you tell me if you were going to give them the contract, right? So, okay. LEC Beverages Group describe themselves as a boutique firm specializing in the management, progression, and distribution of top-tier drink brands. With a strategic long-term vision for distributing drinks in the UK, the team comprises highly decorative professionals with bespoke UK contracts and a strong network for both on-trade and off-trade distribution. Okay.
So I'm just... Can I just
pick that if you want to pick that?
So boutique is the word that I'm holding on to here because... Is that wrong? Should I not hold on to boutique?
No. I'm amazed. I love when we unpick what goes through your brain. So boutique is the word you've already singled out there. Out of everything
boutique is the one. The one that I've singled out because I always assume boutique is a bit more high end, fancy establishment. But if you're going to call it a boutique drink, that doesn't jump to my mind as a lager.
They're not saying that the drink is a boutique. They are a boutique firm. that
Yeah, but that means-
specialises in high top tier drinks.
But I'm not calling Tsingtao a top tier drink. That's also what I'm taking from here.
Rich,
and if you're going to
Take that, Tsingtao. You just got burned.
You're currently the general manager of Tsingtao International, and you're saying your own product is not top tier.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. People at Tsingtao, no. You're telling me that the general director of Tsingtao goes, yeah, we're selling some high quality stuff here. He's clearly making a lot more bank and he's drinking a lot nicer stuff than Tsingtao. He's going, we're just getting this out to the public, the masses. Yeah. He's not sipping there at the end of the day going, this is absolutely fantastic.
He's got to say that, though, hasn't he?
He's got to say that,
He's got to say it's
but
good.
he knows...
Not right. Close the parameters. It's not of all drinks all the time, because you're right. There's probably like 40 grand bottles of whiskey out there.
Yeah.
You're right. But in the context of lager, he thinks, because I've spoke with him, he does think that Tsingtao is a top tier premium lager.
Okay. But boutique, I don't think boutique's the word that we should be associating with Tsingtao. At all?
I think Jabba's raises a relevant point. Yes, because they are the most exported beer from China to the UK. But these guys who've got the licensing firm normally, I think, do license boutique. I've lost sight of what we were trying to achieve with this bit.
Well, then I
think to summarise, you can probably appreciate why the actual general manager of Tsingtao International would have thought the credentials of that LEC Beverages Group would align with his thinking about what the Tsingtao brand is, right?
No, I think the general manager's flawed.
Or he was maybe thinking that was a nice appeal to have for Tsingtao. Is that what we're driving at? And so...
And guys, we haven't even got onto the second partner of this joint venture yet. We're 12 minutes in.
Whatever it is, it's wrong.
It's wrong. Rich doesn't agree.
Who are the others?
What you're basically saying is nobody's good enough for Tsingtao, Rich. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm throwing out there.
Let's leave it there. They're coming to the UK in a big way, or they're coming back into the UK in a big way, and Rich thinks no one's good enough for his Tsingtao. So let's move on to the pursuit of poppiness.
But do we not want to mention the other part of I think you actually said the name, didn't you? You said In Good Company.
In Good Company.
Yeah.
Yes. So In Good Company are a firm that have recently acquired, since 2022, 4Pure, Magic Rock, and they have exclusive sales of People's Captain. So we've actually featured all three of those companies, and we've actually spoke to the People's Captain on this podcast.
There we go.
Oh, did they also... Hang on. Wait. Also Big Drop.
Yes, they have.
Did we talk
actually.
about Big
They've
Drop?
got an exclusive license for Big Drop. We've spoken about Big Drop. I think in passing. I don't think we've actually done a full episode on Big Drop.
We've done some of the ones where we all have a few beers during the podcast. We've had a couple of those where Big Drop has come through a few times.
Yeah, I've definitely talked about the fact that their Galaxy Milk Stout was voted number one stout 2 years in a row out of any stouts, not just non-alcoholic. It was alcoholic as well.
Hang on, I'm getting mixed up. I thought Big Drop... Who did I think Big Drop are? I thought Big Drop
and the non-alcoholic.
Yeah, the New Zealand original. The founder was New Zealand.
Sorry. Yes, no. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the. But I don't think I tried that one. I think that is what I was hanging on to. Basically.
We tried it at the beer festival.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's an interesting development. Which
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
We will.
Your news here first, I think, in collaboration with... Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's do that. And we'll move on to... God, I don't know where we're going to get much legs out of Green Duck, because although actually I'm enjoying the beer, I don't know a great deal about Green Duck. The reason I managed to source Green Duck is they were stocked in my local craft beer shop. which I was, and as I said, actually, though I always kind of go, because we talk about it sometimes, don't we? The design of the label and the can and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And we talked about
ones
very
that, close to my heart, personally.
Yeah, and I think I've liked to pretend in the past that I've gone, that doesn't have any influence on what I choose to buy when I'm in the shop. I was feeling, I think I was actually quite close to you guys coming round, and I needed to get the remaining items off the swap shop. And I went into, I was going to say my favourite beer shop. It's called Favourite Beers, weirdly enough. And actually, I was getting a little bit lost for the trees. I couldn't see the wood for the trees. And I looked, and that was in front of me. Obviously, listeners can't see this at the moment. Just a really, really plain, simple white can with the silhouette of a rubber duck, with a kind of colourful Aztec-y kind of design on the silhouette of the duck,
like patchwork design. Very mismatched.
Yeah. And then under that, Fast and Loose, which is the name of this beer, and then underneath the word pale. And I thought, yeah, I'll have some of that. And the rest is history, or I don't necessarily go down the history books, but that's why we're talking about it right now. This
goes down in the annals of our podcast episodes, though, for sure.
Yeah, this is a collaboration. I'm going to use the full word with Attic Brew Co, who also bring a bell.
We've had Attic Brew before.
I'm sure we had Attic before, didn't we?
Have we? I've not heard Attic before.
We need like an encyclopedia of our own tasting experiences.
Yeah, we're a very professional. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had it in another one of those where we just talked through like loads of different. I'm pretty sure you had it, Joe, top of my head. But
no, I've never come across Attic. I can say that. I've just googled them. Really like them. Like the design. Never had an Attic before.
So interestingly, sorry, I'm just trying to do a little bit of jiggery pokery that involves moving around with my recording device. I wanted to do this earlier, but I didn't have. I got distracted. I was talking to you idiots for a while. But you can scan the QR code on the back of the can, and it will talk. It will give you the inspiration for the beer name. Nice. So hold the line, caller. I've got to.
Shall I give you a bit more of some fun Green Duck Co. beer names?
Yes, please do.
So they have a monthly special names. They have one that's called Duckworth Orange, which has a lovely illustration of what looks to be Scrooge McDuck holding an orange. So you can imagine that's going to be an orange aroma and an orange flavour, black stout.
What, they called it Duckworth Orange after Clockwork Orange, but use Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, like the illustration is like basically like a duck, like a businessman suit duck, looking very angry at an orange in front of a mansion.
Has he got a cane and a bowler hat?
He's got a bowler hat. No, it's a top hat he's wearing, not a bowler hat. And no cane that I can see. But he's called it Duckworth Orange.
Uncle Scrooge McDuck, I think it was a top hat, wasn't it? And he always used to like dive into a pile of gold in a big
pile of money. Yeah. Okay.
You've got Duck the Halls, which was their
Christmas
December one.
Yeah.
Classic.
There you go. You've got Duck Dastardly, as we all should know.
Yeah, nice. Wacky racers vibe.
Nice little one there.
Yeah.
That's a dandelion and burdock styled beer, which is would be really interesting.
Okay.
When you said Duckworth Orange, I was thinking for the cricket fans there should be a Duckworth Lewis. Well, maybe I've just tapped into their next one. Go on. Oh, sorry. Any more?
I haven't found another duck one, but there's one more that's called Murder She Oat, and it's an oat stout, oak milk stout. That made me laugh a little bit.
Not a humorous name. But these guys are from Stourbridge, right? So sort of between
West Midlands,
quite close to you guys' hometown. I
used to play hockey against Stourbridge most weekends.
Oh, how did you get on?
Yeah. Oh, we always won. Always won.
Of course they did.
Take that, Stourbridge.
Very good at hockey. Very good at hockey in Worcester.
But these guys have been around from 2013, and I understand. I think it's just a little gang of three lads from that neck of the woods who fancied getting into brewing. New,
fabulous,
innovative. innovative beers.
Yep.
And they're going strong, basically. As they always say, any business, any new setup that lasts the first 3 years is doing well. But also, it's as we talked about numerous times before, the number of breweries has absolutely exploded in the last 10 years or so. These guys have been going 11, of course. What do we think of the beer itself? Tasty?
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really, really tasty. It's nice, and I like a hazy IPA, but it's not too in your face. It's quite
hazy
mellow.
IPA? Is it a hazy IPA?
So it's a hazy pale, isn't it?
Pale, yeah.
Yeah, so hazy pale, but yeah. I quite anything hazy. I'm always there for.
It's exactly what I was hoping for from a modern craft brewery. Like they set it up as you said with the packaging that they look cool, and they've delivered like a cool tasting pale ale. It's fizzy. It's hoppy. It's it's got very low malt levels to it. It's exactly what I was hoping for. So yeah, certainly didn't disappoint.
Yeah,
and yeah, as to Rich's point, I'm enjoying it.
It stacks up.
Are you getting peachy? Because that's what it's
described
as on the can.
I would say it's subtle, but I do get peachy.
Yeah, now you've said peachy. That was probably the umami that I was missing.
And this is saying, I think the sort of taste notes for this is juicy meets crisp, whereas actually I personally get more of the crisp than the juicy, personally. I don't know. I feel bad. I was nearly going to just fall into the old habits of going back to all pales, all the obvious pales to compare it with. But it's perfectly serviceable, and it's always nice to drink something that's been brewed, relatively speaking, sort of down the road from you, isn't it? So I'd be interested to try this.
And I think it delivers on its name of fast and loose. I feel like this is a sessionable beer. It feels good.
4.6% actually. So I think at tasting it, I actually thought it was going to be less than that. But it's not going to. You won't get into too much bother basically, unless you really go for it.
I could definitely see myself. It's definitely a summer beer. I could see myself in the summer sipping this.
Go down to the tap room, maybe have a wedding there. It could all come together. And the reason why I say that is because there's literally their latest Instagram post is a couple called Sophie and Joe who have had their wedding reception, I should say, at the tap room, which looks like everyone was having an absolute ball of a time and having a great time.
Without that context that you added, it sounded just like a very like you've just have a wedding. Like, what?
You should probably get married.
Rich hasn't asked me yet.
Yeah, it sounded like I was having a dig at drabs, which is not the case.
Well, you're not married yet. I am. And if anything, Barbara's the next person to get married.
Why? How would you describe? Why would you say that Barbara's?
Because he's been in the relationship longer, hasn't he?
Well, no, it's because I caught the bouquet at the last wedding we were all at. That's why.
Okay,
that's exactly it.
Because Simo was the one throwing it.
At your face.
At your face, yeah.
So that when we Barbara's gone bright red, so let's move on.
You two won't be invited to it.
Instagram, the green_duck_ brewery has 4,000 followers. And on X, formerly known as Twitter, Green Duck Beer Co. or at Green Duck Brew has 5,500 followers.
Nice.
That's quite healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's doing okay.
And Barbara, you are going to love this.
Oh.
No, don't worry about it. I was just going to say they've won an award for camera, but actually they were just congratulating another brewery that had won an award for camera. So it's a bit of a moot point.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to love that then.
You can go and drink your warm beer elsewhere.
Just camera things.
Just camera things.
Is you guys talk to me like I'm a Trekkie because I'm a member of camera, and it makes no difference that I am also a Trekkie.
If anything, I prefer that.
What's the latest news of your secret camera newsletter?
I'm not telling you until you learn the handshake, all right? Excellent. We'll call it there, shall we?
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
Barber,
and Simo.
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com.
And watch us on YouTube.
goodbye now.